There is one verse that I believe may be the verse that is twisted more than any other verse in the entire Bible. And I'm going to tell you how preachers twist this verse, and I'm going to tell you then the real meaning of this verse. So this is a particular verse that prosperity preachers and word of faith preachers will often twist. You hear this all the time, and they'll twist this in a way to say that you can create your own reality, that you can bring about the things into your life that you want if you do this certain thing. And this has absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with the context of this particular verse. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at this verse now, but we have to have a look at the broader context first. We're going to have a look at the passage itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the verse that comes before this. And I'll be reading from the New King James Bible, Proverbs 23, verse 6. It says, "Do not eat the bread of a miser, nor desire his delicacies." So other translations will have this as "do not eat the bread of a stingy person." What this is basically saying is don't accept the hospitality of a person that you know is stingy and who really doesn't want to spend money. We're going to find out why. Let's skip over to verse 8 before we come back to verse 7. Verse 7 is the verse that I'm talking about that is twisted. So in verse 8 it says, "The morsel you have eaten you will vomit up and waste your pleasant words." So this here is a metaphor that you will vomit up the food that you've eaten, basically saying that you will regret having eaten with that person. Any attempt to try to build a friendship with this particular person, a genuine connection and relationship, will be a waste of time. And you're going to see why. So we're going to come to the verse now that I'm talking about, verse 7. But first we're going to have a look at the second part of the verse. Then we're going to come back and have a look at the first part of the verse, which is the part that gets twisted. So the second part of the verse says this, "Eat and drink, he says to you, but his heart is not with you." So what this is saying is that this particular person is saying, "Come in, eat. I want you to come and eat with me." And he's appearing to be hospitable, very welcoming, a great host. But really, on the inside, he's a begrudging host because he's stingy. He's counting the cost of everything that you're eating, and he's actually feeling resentment for the fact that it's costing him money, that his outward actions don't match his inward actions. He's appearing to be this great host, but really he is a begrudging host. So now we're going to get to the particular verse that I believe is the one that is possibly more twisted than any other. As I said, it's twisted by prosperity preachers, a word of faith preachers who will say that if you can think this way about yourself, you can create the reality you want. You even hear preachers talking with affirmations, I am financially successful, I am influential, I am going to have this, God's bringing this into my life. All of this stuff, it really is, it's like New Thought type philosophy. You can create the life that you want. Now we're going to read verse 7, the start of verse 7, and you'll see that this is not the context at all. So as we went over this passage, we can see in verse 6 it's saying don't eat with a stingy person or the miser. In verse 7, the second part of it, it's saying because his heart is not really with you, he's not genuine. And then verse 8 is saying that you will vomit out the morsel, that basically you will regret having eaten with him. So into this context, we see this particular verse, the start of verse 7, it says, "For as he thinks in his heart, so is he." So what is this saying? Prosperity preachers and word of faith teachers, as I said, will use this to say that if you can just think this in your heart, then this is who you'll become. But that has nothing to do with this. What it's saying is that a person is who they truly are based on what's in their heart, the motives of their heart. They can appear to be a certain way on the outside, but who you are on the inside is who you truly are. That's what it's saying. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. That's who he truly is, not who he's pretending to be on the outside. You can see why it's so important to understand the context of these verses, because they get twisted all the time. And you need to be able to spot the error when people are doing this. A lot of these preachers, they love to use eisegesis, where they take a passage or a verse and they read their own meaning into that verse to make it mean what they want it to mean, rather than using exegesis, where they're looking at the verse and they're looking at the context and they're deriving the true meaning of the text, the accurate meaning. So I'm sure you've heard this one before. Would love to get your thoughts. Let me know if you have. Would also love to get your thoughts on whether you think that this is possibly the most twisted verse in the entire Bible. Leave your comments below. Talk to you soon. God bless you, friends.